Good evening, everyone, and magandang Jensen. Tonight, we are conducting our first webinar program for the school year 2021 to 2022 in Production and Operation Management with the theme Maximizing Productivity and Strategy, Prioritize and Forecast like a Pro. I am Ron Guevero.
And I am Jeremy Fanugon, and we are the Masters of Ceremony for tonight's webinar program. So tonight is the night for everyone to become more familiar with our topic and learn more about the company or how the company strategizes its goods and services in order to be more productive, as well as be made known to forecasting techniques for decision making. So without further ado, let us start with an opening prayer to be followed by our national anthem via visual presentation.
So now, let's proceed to our program proper. As we hear a welcome address to be given by our professor, Mr. Kenneth L. Sanido, MBM, CHRP. A round of applause, please.
Hi class, hi Ron, thank you so much. I know you can hear me, no? Because my voice is very loud and of course it's clear. Kamusta kayong lahat at isang napakagandang gabi para sa ating lahat. At the same time, a blessed evening everyone. Today is March 24, 2022 and I know you are all loaded no, with all your work schedules and even for me, I just got home from 2 weeks na training workshop about research. But anyway, what a day for all of us. But we are here to enjoy at the same time, not only to enjoy the session, but of course is to learn more about on the first topic of this production and operations management. First of all, I would like to welcome the presence of everyone and of course the Team 3. All the members of the Team 3, thank you so much for preparing this. No? And I know I given you enough time and week to prepare and congratulations in advance. I know you always set the bar high. At the same time, this is a graduate school of studies. I have the 100% full trust that you can handle all the program and even the flow on it. Thank you so much, Team 3. And of course, I would like to welcome our speaker, our dear speaker. If I'm not mistaken, is nasa Maynila siya right now and tama ba? Sige, later on we can introduce him no in our class. Professor Don, thank you so much, Professor Don, for accepting my class invitation. Thank you for your heart. This is always our quest as a professor, the quest of education, not only for handling our job and responsibilities as we remember that this profession is a noble job. Thank you so much, sir. And of course, I would like also to state some house rules before we start. No, after the session, please stay online because we will we will rate the report of the Team 3 and even the program flow live. At the same time, is please continue to open your camera. I'm so glad to see you online face to face. I strongly encourage to open your camera. On and off will do. Don't hesitate to become more interactive and participative during with our class discussion. I know there will some Q&A later on, and I know our speaker, based on his expertise and prowess, no, we can have a productive discussion. As far as you remember, class, for the past few days, we meet up, no, I know nagiging interactive yung, nagiging productive yung discussion. And this night is the first ever kick-off discussion ng Team 3. And I think the total coverage of their topic is the strategy, productivity history, and even the workload assessment and forecasting. And to check your team strategy, this is here, maximizing productivity and strategy, diba? Prioritize and forecast like a pro. So I'm expecting that we are going to learn more about on forecasting with our speaker. But anyway, just enjoy the session. We have a lot of icebreaker here prepared by the Team 3. Again, thank you so much and congratulations and a blessed evening, everyone. So thank you, class.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Ken. For now, let us listen to the statement of purpose of this webinar program to be given by Mr. Alden Esteban.
Thank you, ma'am. To our professor, Sir Kenneth L. Sanido, MBM CHRP, to our speakers, guests, and classmates, good evening. The purpose of this webinar is to guide the participants to set reasonable and measurable goals based on current and historical data, which help us to predict what will happen in the future of business and to analyze accurate data in deciding what amount to change, growth, or improvement, maximizing productivity in strategy, prioritize, and forecast like a pro is a broad discussion. And by means of this webinar, we might be able to understand the topic through the professional resource speakers. I'm hoping that everyone will participate and enjoy this webinar. Once again, good evening.
Again, so thank you so much, Sir Alden, for the rationale of this evening's webinar. So moving on, classmates rather, let us give the floor to Ma'am May Amor or to Ma'am Jaira in behalf of Ma'am May Amor, Ma'am Jera Obando for the introduction of our resource speakers.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Ron. Okay, so our resource speaker for tonight earned his degree of Bachelor of Science in Accountancy year 1996 to year 2000 at Mindanao State University, General Santos City. He took up his master's degree in Business Administration year 2007 to 2009 at Far Eastern University, Manila, Philippines. He was also the program chair of BSBA Marketing Management and Financial Management at National University, Manila, year 2018 to 2019. He was also an Associate Professor 1 at the National University, year 2012 to 2019, who handled sales management, marketing research, feasibility study, and retail management. He is a part-time professor at Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila and De La Salle College of St. Benilde from year 2019 up to present. He is also the unit head of International Assistance of Rizal Technological University at Mandaluyong City and a global jury member as trainee of Wadhwani Foundation at India. Ladies and gentlemen, our resource speaker is no other than Mr. Donato Zerudo Estocada, MBA, CFMP, CCSA. So let us give him a round of applause.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much for that very wonderful introduction. And of course, I would like to thank Miss May, my classmate in college. May, I miss you so much. No, it was so it's so overwhelming, to be invited as speaker, okay, for the students of MSU, especially that I'm a graduate. I am an alumnus of MSU, and that was 2000 pa, and after 22 years ngayon na ako nakabalik ulit in General Santos City. Okay, so once again, to the team of Miss May and to all your professor as well. I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I would always love to speak before the students of MSU, my beloved alma mater. Okay, so thanks to the moderator as well, and with me tonight is also a Bisaya from Davao in Samal Island. Okay, he is my colleague here in Manila. He is Mr. Ronald Bariga. Sir, can I see you on the screen? Sir Ronald Bariga.
Hi, yeah, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Hi.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, nice to see you all. And I was actually happy being invited by Sir Don as well to join with you tonight. So thank you.
Ayan. To give a short background of Sir Bariga, he used to work in Nestle Philippines for quite some time, and also we joined together in one university, National University Manila. Okay, so I left NU in 2019. Then I joined other schools after leaving National University. So the topic, okay, is very interesting. Okay, maximizing productivity and strategy, prioritize and forecast like a pro. Nakakabata yung word na pro, no? Hindi nakalatang 45 years old na ako, May. No? Para lang 38 years old, pro, no? So maalala ko lang after kasi I graduated in MSU, I became a manager of a restaurant in North Cotabato, no? So it's a bake shop and at the same time a restaurant. Okay, so one time nag-launch kami ng aming siopaw. Okay, Don's siopaw by Don's, you know, siopaw. So ang sabi ng baker ko that time, he could only bake 80 siopaw in a day. 80 siopaw in a day. So meaning if you have 8 hours of work in a day, so meaning in 1 hour he could only produce 10 siopaw per hour. And that's kind of very napaka-low ng production. Okay? But I considered it for parang mga 1 year. Then when we launch our siopaw, ang ginawa kong strategy is that I tap some small stores, okay, outlet stores in Kidapawan, if we could display our siopaw stand sa store nila, parang consignment, then surprisingly, I was able to get at least 10 to 20 stores, no, were willing to magbenta ng siopaw sa store nila. Okay? So, dapat meron daw 50 siopaw in a day. So, pag 50 siopaw in a day times 20, that should be 1,000. Okay, 1,000. Tama ba ako, May? So, 50 times 20. So, 1,000 siopaw yung kailangan ko. And that was really a very good problem. No? Napakagandang problema. No? Kasi nga, my God, kailangan ko mag-serve ng 1,000 siopaw in a day. Okay? So kinausap ko yung siopaw maker ko, sabi ko, okay, in excess of 80 siopaw in a day, I will give you a commission of 1 peso. No, isang 1 peso or piso na. Nako, at my surprise, after an 8-day hour of producing the siopaw, he was able to produce 300 siopaw in 8 hours. Naloko lang pala ako for the longest time, no? Naloko lang pala ako ng baker ko for the longest time na sinabi lang sa akin na 80 siopaw, naniwala ako. No? Alam mo naman, may marupok ako. Madali ako maniwala, no? But it's not good in business, no? Kasi if I just did it before pa, okay, kung alam ko lang kung paano gumawa ng siopaw, so dapat pala matagal na kami nakaproduce ng 200 or 300 siopaw in a day. So sorry siya kasi na-discover ko yung ganun. So sabi ko sa kanya, putol na yung commission mo. In excess of 300, doon palang papatak yung commission niya. Okay? So paano lang yan pawais-wais lang yan. So the best thing that you can do is, immerse yourself with the people or with your production people so that you can easily understand how hard is it for them, to bake, to prepare the ingredients or how gaano kadali. Kasi ako nga kasi dati pag may kailangan ng kulang yung tao sa dishwashing, nagdi-dishwash ako. Pag kulang yung tao sa production, nagbe-bake ako ng lasagna, cake, chicken mga salad, no? Special kasaba cake, leche flan, no? So ganun yung ginagawa ko. Until alam ko na gawin yung sa lahat. Okay? Kasi as a manager, dapat alam mo kung paano gawin yung mga ginagawa ng mga tao mo para alam mo rin kung paano mag-estimate, no? Kung paano mag-forecast, no? Kung anong strategy yung kailangan mong gawin. Okay? So, eto na tayo sa maximizing productivity and strategy, prioritize and forecast like a pro. Now, the name of the game is competition. Okay? The playing field is global. Ang lawak na ngayon ng business ng environment. Okay? Those who will understand how to play the game will succeed. No? Those who don't are doomed to failure. So you should understand, no, yung game plan. And don't think the game is just companies competing with each other. In companies that have multiple factories or divisions producing the same good or service, factories or divisions sometimes find themselves competing with each other. Now, when a competitor another company or a sister factory or division in the same company can turn out products better, cheaper, and faster, that spells real trouble for the factory or division that is performing at a lower level. Now, the trouble can be layoffs or even a shutdown. Now, if the managers can turn these things around, now the bottom line is that better quality, higher productivity, lower costs, and the ability to quickly respond to customer needs are more important than ever. And the bar is getting higher. Business organizations need to develop solid strategies for dealing with these issues. Again, my name is Donnie Stocada, and welcome to this webinar, which is entitled Maximizing Productivity and Strategy, Prioritize and Forecast Like a Pro. Okay? The learning objectives of this webinar would include learning after the talk, you will be able to learn the different ways companies compete and why some firms do a very good job of competing. Second, you will learn how effective strategies can lead to competitive organizations, learn what productivity is and why it is important and what organizations can do to improve it, and learn and apply the different techniques in forecasting. Okay, so at this time, let's play silent protocol. Okay, let's play silent protocol. I want the participants to utilize the chat box by typing any word or a phrase related to operations management. Okay, so I'm giving you 1 minute to share your things that you learn or you know about operations management. And your 1 minute starts now.
Excuse me, sir, resource speaker.
Yes.
I think your screen is not moving.
Sorry.
Uh,
I'm sorry, sir. My
your
screen
screen
is.
is not moving. Like,
Okay, sir.
yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Okay, so let's play silent protocol. Okay, so type any word or any phrase related to operations management. I'm giving you 1 minute to share your thoughts out loud. And your 1 minute starts now. Ayan. So late transformation process input, raw materials, process improvement. Okay. Input, labor, resources, human resource, planning, production, goods and services, product, resources, process, strategy, input, transformation, output, products, outputs. Thank you. Napaka-active ng participation. No? So ganyan yung gusto ko sana talaga lagi. Okay? When I say chicken, you say nuggets. Chicken.
Nuggets.
Nuggets.
Ayan, no? Again, louder, chicken.
Nuggets.
Yan. Sana all nuggets. Joke lang. Sana all nuggets, May, no? Buti pa si May. May jowa na ako. Wala pa din. Hi. Okay. Okay, so let me continue with my presentation. Okay. Now, next up, let's talk about competitiveness. Ayan. Okay. Now, companies must be competitive to sell their goods and services in the marketplace. Competitiveness is an important factor in determining whether a company prospers, barely gets by, or fails. Okay? Business organizations compete through some combination of price, delivery, time, and product or service differentiation. So when we talk about competitiveness, it is the ability and performance of an organization in the marketplace compared to other organizations that offer similar goods or services. If you cannot compete, if you cannot compete in the marketplace, you will die. Especially if you are a new entrant in the market, it's very hard to penetrate, the red ocean. So you have to, strategize as well on how to survive in the market. Nowadays, in the onset of the pandemic, I think all the businesses have online presence. So if you do not have an online presence, then you are not doing business at all. Okay. The next is So on your screen are the marketing influences competitiveness. Okay, it has something to do with marketing. No? Okay, so the marketing influences competitiveness in several ways, including identifying consumer wants and or needs. No, it's very important. No, kasi nga dapat yung product mo should be a solution to the customer's problem. Dapat yung profile ng customer mo meets also with the features of your product. Okay, pricing and advertising and promotion. Now, identifying consumer wants and or need is a basic input in an organization. Now, maraming nagtatanong lagi, sir, paano ba ako mag-start ng negosyo? How will I start the business? Will I start with the product? Will I start with the customer? Will I start with 1 million investment? Okay, now the reason why we produce the product is because we want to solve customer problems. So dapat tanungin muna natin kung ano yung kailangan ng customer before we will develop the product. Okay, now the ideal is to achieve a perfect match between those wants and needs and the organization's goods and or services. Now, price and quality are key factors in consumer buying decisions. It is important to understand the trade-off decision consumers make between price and quality. Remember that customers are not simply buying the product, but they are paying for the value, no, for the benefits that they can get from the product that they have paid. Okay, when it comes to advertising and promotion, these are ways organizations can inform potential customers about features of their products or services and attract buyers. Okay, so the next one is, why do some business organizations fail? If I may ask the audience, okay, can I have a volunteer? Okay, why do you think some organizations fail? Can I have a volunteer? Okay. Ayan, sir, nakikita yung screen ko, sir, yung competitive priorities.
Yes, sir.
Ayan, thank you. So on your screen is an example of competitive priorities of some selected companies, okay? For Loblaw, WestJet, Walmart, okay? Their competitive priority is cost and their emphasis is in low cost. For Sony, Samsung, Lexus, and Cadillac, their competitive priority is quality and they give emphasis on high performance. For Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, Xerox, Toyota, and Pizza Hut, okay, their competitive priority is in quality as well, and their emphasis is on consistent quality. For Home Depot, Walmart, hospital, emergency room, okay, their competitive priority is in flexibility and emphasis on the variety. And for Potash Corporation and Air Canada, their competitive priority is in flexibility and their emphasis is on quantity and flexibility. Now for McDonald's, Later, and Domino's Pizza, their competitive priority is timeliness and emphasis on rapid delivery. And finally, for WestJet, okay, and just-in-time supplier, their emphasis is on the time delivery. I need to, ayan, medyo may problem sa PowerPoint ko. So I need to reshare. Okay, so let's talk about the mission and vision values as one of the strategies, no, of the organization. Now, an organization's mission is the reason for its existence. It's the purpose of being. Okay, it is expressed in its mission statement. Okay, for a business organization, the mission statement should answer the question, what business are we in? Missions vary from organization to organization depending on the nature of their business. An example of the mission is, kita na to, will be presented in the next slide. Okay, so but before we'll proceed to the samples of the mission, I want you to watch the video of Amazon. Okay, so what I've shown you actually is the warehouse of Amazon, no? So the warehouse of Amazon is, okay, a majority of the na gumagawa, no, dun sa Amazon warehouse are robots, okay? So konti na lang yung human interventions, okay? With that, Amazon received, okay, the top spot in customer service in a recent Business Week ranking. Although most Amazon customers never talk with an employee, okay? When something goes wrong, Amazon excels in dealing with the problem. Okay, example, in the case when a New Jersey woman received a workbook she ordered that was described as like new, she was surprised to discover that it wasn't even close to new. So ang ginawa ng Amazon is that immediately nag-refund sila, no? Nag-refund sila ng binayad at hindi rin nila tinanggap na yung hindi nila pinabalik sa customer na yung item, no? So it's one of their strategies in order to survive in the business. Okay. Now, so moving forward, there are three basic business strategies in operations management. You have the low cost, okay, responsiveness, and differentiation from competitors. Now, sometimes, okay, but the question is it strategic, tactical, or operational issue? Okay, now sometimes the same issue may apply to all three levels, okay, in the low cost, responsiveness, differentiation from competitors. However, a key difference is the time frame. Now, from a strategic perspective, long-term implications are most relevant. From tactical and operational perspectives, the time frames are much shorter. In fact, the operational time frame is often measured in days. Okay, chicken.
Nuggets.
Nuggets.
Chicken.
Nuggets.
And very good. Now let's talk about the planning and decision making. Okay, they are hierarchical in organizations. Okay? Hierarchical in organizations. Now it should be apparent, no, that the overall relationship that exists from the mission down to actual operations is hierarchical. So galing sa mission and vision, then the followed by the goals, then after ng goals, you have to develop the organizational strategy, then the functional strategies, okay? Andyan si finance, si marketing, and operations, and under each department, you have to develop the tactics. Then after the tactics, you have to develop the policies and action plans. Now, so, example, okay, to illustrate it further, okay, I want you to meet Rita, Rita Avila. Okay? She is a high school student. She would like to have a career in business, have a good job, and earn enough income to live comfortably. Okay? So, ito yung kanyang mission, live a good life. Ang goal niya, successful career, good income in order for her to live a good life. Ang strategy niya is to obtain a college education, okay, to be successful in her career, earn a good income, and in order to live a good life. Her tactics, select a college and a major, okay? Then her action plans include register, buy books, take courses, study, graduate, then get a job. Tayo ba, May, nung college, ano yung naging strategy natin nung college? Nasaan na ba ako? Ayan na. Okay, after ni Rita. Okay, dito na tayo. So on your screen are some examples of different strategies an organization might choose. So with the low cost, scale-based strategies, specialization, newness, flexible operations, high quality, service, and sustainability. When we talk about low cost, outsourced operations to third world countries that have low labor costs. Sa Pilipinas, ang daming nag-ano dito na, ang daming nag-i-invest sa Pilipinas, nag-negosyo kasi mababa yung ating pasweldo. Okay. Now, another one is scale-based strategies. Okay, in this case naman, use capital-intensive methods to achieve high output volume and low unit costs. Now, when we talk about specialization, focus on narrow product lines or limited service to achieve higher quality. When we talk about flexible operations, focus on quick response and or customization. When we talk about service, okay, focus on various aspects of service, example, helpful, courteous, reliable, etc. And finally, for sustainability, focus on environment friendly and energy efficient operations. Now, let's talk about strategy formulation. Because strategy formulation is almost always critical to the success of a strategy. Now, Walmart discovered that when it opens stores in Japan, although Walmart thrived in many countries on its reputation for low-cost items, Japanese consumers associated low cost with low quality. No, alam naman natin ang 'di ba ang Japan products ay medyo expensive pero high quality naman. Okay. And many felt that HP, okay, or Hewlett Packard committed a strategic error when it acquired Compaq computers at a cost of $19 billion. Okay, HP share of the computer market was less after the merger than the sum of the shares of the separate companies before the merger. Okay, on your screen is an example of an organization strategy and what operation strategy are they are employing, and the examples of company or services that employ these strategies. For example, for Walmart and Southwest Airlines, their organization strategy is low price and their operation strategy is low cost. Okay. For McDonald's, UPS, FedEx, 1 Hour Photo, and Express Mail, okay, their operation strategy is short pricing time and their organization strategy is being responsive. Now, for Domino's Pizza, we have on-time delivery. Now, for TV, Sony, Samsung, LG, Lexus, Lexus, okay, their organization strategy is focused on differentiation, okay, with high quality, and their operation strategy is high performance design and or high quality processing. And you also have the 3M, Apple, Google, and the Burger King. Now, let's talk about supply chain strategy. We cannot separate supply chain from operations, okay, operations, because okay, when we talk about operations, it also talks about supply chain. Okay, the supply chain strategy specifies how the supply chain should function to achieve supply chain goals. Now, the supply chain strategy should be aligned with the business strategy. No, for example, ang strategy is fast delivery, so dapat yung supply chain mo din is mabilis din yung delivery. Now, if it's well executed, it can create value for the organization. It establishes how the organization should work with suppliers and policies relating to customer relationships and sustainability. Chicken?
Nugget.
Again.
Okay, so let's talk about the sustainability strategy. Nowadays, ang yung mga organizations are actually conforming to the 17
Sir Don?
Sir?
Mag-stop sharing ka kaya? Ako na mag-share. Nag-freeze yung connection mo eh.
Ay, okay na sir, i-share ko na sir.
Okay na. Sige.
Okay.
Okay. Okay na po, nakikita ko na. Nag-move na siya.
Sige sir. Ayan, no? So, now, society is placing increasing emphasis on corporate sustainability practices in the form of governmental regulations and interest groups. Now, for these and other reasons, business organizations should devote attention to sustainability goals. No? On your screen are the 17 sustainability goals. Okay, that requires elevating sustainability to the level of the organizational governance, formulating goals for products and services, for processes, and for the entire supply chain, measuring achievements and striving for improvements, and possibly linking executive compensation to the achievement of the sustainability goals. Okay. Next is the global strategy. Diba? Affected ngayon, very obvious yung effect ng giyera ng Ukraine at ng Russia. Grabe yung price hike ng gasolina. No? Buti naman ngayon, we've got the good news na meron na tayong rollback. Sir Bariga, how were you affected by yung pagtaas ng gasolina? Sir, nagsasakyan ka pa ba, sir?
Walang gala.
Walang gala. So pahinga muna, no? Okay.
Naalala ko yung grade ko nung high school.
Bakit, sir?
Kasi nasa 80 na eh. So, magkasunod na sila 75, 77, 80. Yung mga grade nung high school eh. Kaya mo, class record na yung nandun sa naka-display niya. So,
pero
yun,
sorry, sir, hindi ako familiar sa 80 na grade, sir. Joke. Ang yabang. Kasi maalala ko, parang 95 yung lowest.
Yeah, student
grade ko, sir. Alam mo, sir, may share ko lang, sir, sa MSU, sir. Nasaan na ba yung mga staff here? Sa MSU, di ba? Tres lang tayo, tuwang-tuwa na tayo. Oh my God. Maalala ko dati, Diyos ko, yung accounting, yung account practice, audit theory, at saka tawag doon yung audit practice, saka advanced accounting, may nakatres lang ako, umiyak na talaga ako, may. Oo, di ba? Hindi tayo nag-after for 1.0, 1.5. Bahala sila dyan. Basta ako, makapasa lang tayo, no? Kasi nga, sobrang pinaghirapan na natin yung tres sa MSU. Di ba, Sir, Sir Kenneth?
Pro on the specific
Makatres ka lang, talagang nakasurvive ka na talaga. Na? Sir Joel, ganun pa rin ba ngayon, Sir Joel?
Stress lang, sir, sapat na.
O, di ba?
Yes po, sir. Ganun pa rin, sir.
O, di ba? Gumagapang kami dati. Imagine, sir, matulog kami, yung dorm namin, may mga Manila paper. Pag lingon mo dito, Manila paper din, may mga visual aids. Naglalakad ako, basa ko yung libro. Matutulog ka na, makonsensya ka pa. Kasi nga, may babasahin ka pa. That is what MSU did to my life. Grabe. Pero look at me. Ganun pa din ako, joke lang. No? Pero nakakatuwang isipin na hininog tayo ng kaya hinubog tayo ng MSU. No? So, talagang ang laki ng utang na loob ko sa MSU talaga. Okay, diretso na tayo dito, may baka bago pa tayo mag-iyakan. Ayan. So, let's talk about global strategy. No, kasi part na tayo ng global industry. So, konting kibot lang doon sa kabila. No, affected tayo. Okay? As globalization increase, many companies realize that strategic decisions with respect to globalization must be made. Okay? One issue companies must face is that what works in one country, may not work in another country, or if it works in your country, okay, pwede namang hindi rin mag-work or pwede rin siya mag-work in another country. Okay. Then the next one is wait lang. Ayan na yung si McDonald's. Okay? Tingnan niyo yung rice burger ni McDonald's, okay? So at this McDonald's in Singapore, one variable is the use of rice as a staple of the Chinese diet. Okay, this ad highlights rice burgers. In India, yung patty nila sa burger nila ay hindi gawa sa beef, no? Kasi nga bawal pala yan sa mga Indian. Okay. Now, so let's talk about the operation strategy. Okay. Now, the organization strategy provides the overall direction for the organization. Now, it is broad in scope, covering the entire organization. Operation strategy is narrow in scope, dealing primarily with the operations aspect of the organization. Operation strategy relates to products, processes, methods, operating resources, quality, okay, cost, lead times, and scheduling. Okay, so when we talk about operation strategy, the approach that is used to guide the operation function, it is consistent with organization strategy and it supports competitive priorities. Now, on your screen is the process on how to formulate an operation strategy. Okay, the first one is determine operations requirements, followed by categorize customers into types and choose competitive priority emphasis, group product lines into types, assess strengths, weaknesses, and competitive position, assess the degree of plant focus, develop and deploy strategy for each decision category, objectives, policies, and action plans. Are we good so far?
Yes, yes, sir.
Nuggets.
Chicken?
Nauna na siya, nuggets.
Nauna na nuggets, no? Sana may parapol ng nuggets. Sarap lang. Okay, so let's talk about productivity. Now, one of the primary responsibilities of a manager is to achieve productive use of an organization's resources. Okay? Usually, the performance of the manager is measured, no, doon sa productivity or doon sa lalo sa operations manager, yung the number of items produced, no, at a particular period. it talks about efficiency, no? Kung paano nagagamit na utilize ng manager yung available resources.
Kamay mo nakikita.
Now, the term productivity is used to describe this. Now, productivity is an index that measures output of goods and services relative to the input for labor, materials, energy, and other resources.
Pagkaganyan mo, nagaganyan, no?
Okay? So productivity is a measure of the effective use of resources, usually expressed as the ratio of output to input. Okay? Productivity ratios can be computed for a worker, a department, an organization, and a country. And the formula to get the productivity is equal to outputs versus over inputs. Okay. Now, next is the productivity growth. Now, in order to compute for the productivity growth, the formula is current period productivity minus previous period productivity over previous period productivity. Now, when we talk about productivity, I want you to watch this video. Anyway, so yung video is about yung intervention ng robots in Hyundai robotics motor plant. No, it is already being run dito yung mga wala nang halos human intervention, okay? Ang gumagawa, okay, so welding, pag-assemble ng mga tawag dito ng mga cars ay gawa na ng robot. Okay? So this is part of the strategic objectives of the Hyundai to increase the level of their quality when it comes to their customer service. Okay? And also to meet the customer demands. Okay. Now, productivity can be enhanced by the use of the robotic equipment, and it can be shown in dapat sa video ng Hyundai motors. Okay, robots can operate from long periods with consistent precision and high speed. Now, the Hyundai Motor Company manufacturing plant in Montgomery, Alabama, uses robots for assembly work. This $1.4 billion automotive plant is one of the most advanced assembly plants in North America. So ganun na ka-advanced ang Hyundai Motors when it comes to producing cars. Okay. Now, the next one is how to measure the measures of productivity. We have the partial measures, we have the multi-factor measures, and the total measure, which can be computed using the formula displayed on your screen. Now, we also have the partial productivity measures. Okay, we can use the for labor productivity, the units of output per labor hour, the units of output per shift, and the value added per labor hour. For machine productivity units, it is computed by the units of output per machine hour. Okay, for capital productivity, the units of output per dollar input, dollar value of output per dollar input, and for energy productivity, by units of output per kilowatt hour or dollar value of output per kilowatt hour. Now, this time, let us proceed to the history of production and operation management development. Now, the systems for production have existed since ancient times. For example, the construction of pyramids and Roman aqueducts involved operations management skills. Now, the production of goods for sale, at least in the modern sense, and the modern factory system had their roots in the Industrial Revolution. Now, when we talk about Industrial Revolution, okay, it began in the 1770s in England and spread to the rest of Europe and to the United States during the 19th century. During that time, goods were produced using craft production, and they required highly skilled workers using simple, flexible tools, produce goods according to customer specifications. After the Industrial Revolution, it was followed by the scientific management, okay? Na it brought widespread changes to the management of factories. A number of other pioneers also contributed heavily to this movement, to the scientific management, including the following. The Frank Gilbreth was an industrial engineer who is often referred to as the father of motion study. He developed principles of motion economy that could be applied to incredibly small portions of a task. Henry Gantt recognized the value of non-monetary rewards to motivate workers and developed a widely used system for scheduling called the Gantt charts. Then Emerson applied Taylor's ideas to organization structure and encouraged the use of experts to improve organizational efficiency. He testified in a congressional hearing that railroads could save $1 million a day by applying principles of scientific management. Then Henry Ford, the great industrialist, employed scientific management techniques in the factories. Now, after the scientific management, the human relations movement followed. Okay, during this era, it emphasized the importance of the human element in job design. And Lillian Gilbreth, a psychologist and the wife of Frank Gilbreth, worked with her husband, focusing on the human factor in work, and there was much emphasis on the motivation. Then the decision models and management science evolved after that. Okay, so the factory movement was accompanied by the development of several quantitative techniques. F.W. Harris developed one of the first model in 1915, a mathematical model for inventory order size. And in the 1930s, three co-workers at Bell Telephone Labs, H.F. Dodge, H.G. Romig, and W. Schuhart, developed statistical procedures for sampling and quality control. Now, it was followed by the influence of the Japanese manufacturers. Okay, when a number of Japanese manufacturers developed or refined management practices that increased the productivity of their operations and the quality of their products, due in part to the influence of Americans, W. Edwards Deming and Joseph Juran, whom I think are the father of parang yung pagdating sa quality, no? Yung sa ito, sir, di ba, Bariga? Joseph Juran is, is always, okay?
Yeah, they are quality gurus.
Ayan, quality gurus, okay? Si Joseph Juran, okay? Juran, okay? Now, their approaches emphasize quality and continual improvement, worker teams, and empowerment, and achieving customer satisfaction. Now, how? Kumusta naman ngayon? No? Kumusta naman ngayon yung operations? Okay? Ito tayo, we are already, okay, in the industrial revolution, okay, where artificial intelligence and technological advancements are already employed or integrated in our business operations. So we have the electronic business or e-business, involves the use of the internet to transact business. Okay, lalo na ngayon nagkaroon ng pandemic, di ba? Para bang all business maybe have already transformed to equipping or acquiring or integrating a technology in their business operations. Most familiar to the general public is the e-commerce like Lazada, Shopee, consumer businesses such as buying online or requesting information. Okay, so here is the summary. Okay, the summary of the growth and development of the operations management, okay, in the world. It started in 1776 by Adam Smith. Okay, and he authored about the division of labor hanggang, okay, followed by Eli Whitney for interchangeable parts. Okay, hanggang in 2000s, okay, in 2000s pumasok na si applications, okay, application service providers and outsourcing using the social media, the YouTube and others. And the latest is the TikTok. Okay, at ang dami ang nag-develop niya. Okay, now I think it's time for me to turn you over to Mr. Bariga to talk about forecasting. Okay, so Sir Bariga, please take the floor. Thank you. Sir, ikaw ba mag-share, sir? Sir Barigs?
Nakamute pala ako, excited.
Oh my God. Diba, si Sir Bariga, kamukha niya si Senator Bato.
Hindi ko po kapag-anak si Senator Bato. So, ayan. Okay, anyway.
Actually, si Senator Bato talaga yan. Nagkunwari lang Sir Bariga yan.
Yeah. May ganun na. Thank you, Sir Don, for anyway, thank you once again for the invites, for allowing me to join you again. So, lagi kaming nagkakasama ni Sir Don. sa mga webinars like this. Do you have my screen anyway?
Ano pa lang, sir? Nag-i-initiate pa lang.
Okay.
Wala pang lumalabas.
Bakit yan? I think I should have.
Sige, sir.
Meron, okay naman. Pinindot ko na siya. Wala pa din?
Nandyan na, sir.
Meron na, sir. Paki-slideshow, sir.
Okay. Paano ba to? Lumalabas sa aking side. Akala ko okay na yung sharing ko. Anyway, yes, sir, can you just continue the sharing? I will do the stop sharing here. I'm not sure mukha ako naman naglag. But anyway, I will just continue with what Sir Don talk about, no? And when it comes to productivity, because productivity is very much influenced by the term forecasting. And when I read your theme, it talks about forecast like a pro. And I was thinking, how can we consider like we forecast like a pro? And I understand we have some faculties here. Maybe some of you are business owners or maybe working in an industry, and probably some of you deals with forecasting. So in a business operation, this is what I hated so much. Now, when I was with Nestle, I do the manual forecasting because there's no application that is being used. So we do manual forecasting for how many what particular product to produce, what flavor, are we going to produce more on the novelty, are we going to produce more on the bulk item. So we always, it's always like a challenge, and productivity plays really, I mean forecasting plays really a vital role, no, sa isang organization. Most probably all of you with quite familiar with this, because I think your subject is operations management, and I'm very much confident that you know how to compute those different strategies or different approaches in forecasting. But the challenge always is like there's so many approaches, but how can we use this? Which particular approach or techniques is very important and we can do, no? So in all areas kasi sa business, whether marketing, accounting, sa finance department, production, all of this uses forecasting. When you HR, the human resource department also use forecasting. Like say for example, if there is like an increase in production, there is always like a forecast as to how many employees needs to be added. Are we going to hire? Are we going to just fill in like what we call this overtime or something like that? So yung trabaho ng forecast. Now sabi nga niya statement of the future. But sabi din niya, forecasting or forecast never been perfect. So kaya lang mahalaga, lagi lang nating tatandaan sa forecast, the most important thing in forecasting is kailangan yung data timely. Okay, now before I proceed, could you please type in the chat box? I just want to check and gauge maybe and see as to which area I would be discussing. Could you please like type in the chat box as to what do you believe is the objective? Ano ba yung objective ng forecasting para sa inyo? As what you maybe use sa inyong sa industry, in the business, in the industry where you're working, or maybe as a faculty, or maybe as a business owner. Ano bang objective? Para saan ba tong tinatawag na forecast? Future sales. Wow. Decision making. Yes. Predict the future or reduce uncertainty, no? Resource management, project, wow, financials. Kita mo yun lahat, no? Nandyan, no? So, kanina dami nagtatanong ano ba itong sustainability loop. So marami kasing approaches nyo from what we call this, Deborah, Miss Pridge, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Miss Whitney, no, Mark, how they started. Marami kasing anong sustainability loop, no? But one of the most important to consider on it, just to answer yung question kanina, is yung availability of resources. And availability of resources is always very important in operation. And for you to be able to make sure that you're able to sustain operation, you have to make sure that there is always resources. And for you to be able to have specific resources, kailangan tama yung forecast mo. Gagamit ka ng forecast, no? So ginamit na 'yan ng mga Japanese, no? From 1920 when Walter Shewhart established the statistical process control with Deming, and Deming went to Japan, teaches Japanese people about quality. So ginamit na nila yung forecast, nakikita na nila, no? And ngayon, ang i-discuss ko sa inyo, what I'm going to talk about, so improve performance, estimate possible sales, prediction, risk. With all of these things that you have read, what do you think is the bottom line of this? Sa lahat ng sinulat nyo dyan, ano yung bottom line ng forecasting? Okay? Sinulat nyo lahat dyan, ano yung bottom line ng forecasting? So pinaka-bottom line niya, yung success ng operation. Profit, may sinabi si Sir, profit, yes. Now, pagka may profit, does it means there is productivity? So laging may ganon, no? So ngayon, sa forecasting kasi, ang isang iniiwasan, when I was with Nestle, isang iniiwasan namin, kaya kami nagpo-forecast, para ma-minimize yung cost ng operation. Kasi pag nag-purchase ka ng maraming raw materials, sabit ka. No? Kaya sa total, sa quality management system ngayon, from logistics, ginawa niyang supply chain. So si supply chain, yung supply chain head, ang kanyang trabaho is from suppliers down to the operation, down to customer service. Yun yung kanyang trabaho. Tinitingnan niya yung lahat para pag nakita niya, sana ko kukuha ng supply. Where should I be getting this supply? Who will be my suppliers? What are my criteria to choose suppliers? So kasama yan. No? Pag pinag-forecast ka, kasama yan. No? And we forecast sales. We forecast sales. We forecast budgets. We forecast human resource. No? So, kaya sa Nestle, pag nakikita namin na yung previous na sales, like December of last year, tinitingnan namin yan kung it will be the same for this year. Now, ang nakakalungkot sa ice cream, isa sa pinakamahirap i-forecast na item is yung ice cream. No? Talagang napakahirap. And because of this, we are using different techniques. So alam niyo naman yung time series, alam niyo yung judgmental, alam niyo naman yung associative, and under time series marami yan. Meron tayong naive, meron tayong moving averages, meron tayong weighted averages, at meron tayong tinatawag na exponential smoothing. Okay? Ang challenge dyan, paano mo to gamitin? Kasi we are talking about profitability. Because even you are doing the right computation, if the forecast techniques is wrong, then it's a problem. So now if you forecast like a pro, you should know what techniques you should be using in every business operations. Hindi po lahat ng business operations pare-pareho ang forecasting techniques. Kung consumer product yan, mayroong specific techniques. Pero nakadepende din kung anong klaseng consumer product. Halimbawa, soft drinks. Ano ba maganda dyan? Moving, naive, exponential smoothing, weighted averages. So, yun yung issue. No? So, if you like to forecast like a pro, you should understand how to make use of this. Okay? Halimbawa, ano ba ang pinaka-effective kapag consumer product? Halimbawa, basic needs. What do you think? Like sabihin na natin, banana queue. Punta tayo sa pinaka-specific. Banana queue. What do you think is the most effective forecasting techniques na pwede nating gamitin pag ikaw ay nagtitinda ng banana queue? Any idea? Di po ba? Parang akala natin yung forecasting ginagamit lang sa mga multinational company. Hindi po. Pwede po natin siyang gamitin even down to the micro business. And it's very, kahit sa karinderya, di ba si nanay, si Aling, kung sino man yung pinakainan ni Sir Don dati, na nagpo-forecast sila ng kanilang mga pagkain, no? Whatever, like adobo, giniling, minudo, alam ni nanay na bukas 1 kilo lang bibilhin ko. Kasi Friday bukas, munggo ang mabenta, hindi karne. Kita niyo yung gano'n, no? So, para naging kagawian na, it's always like, naging custom na, naging culture na pag Friday, munggo. No? So, nakikita natin na pag Friday, munggo yung mabenta. Alam niyo ba na yun ay isang techniques ng forecasting na sinasabi natin? na ginagamit natin, sinuturo natin sa school, nakikita natin, naririnig natin sa school. Ang problema, hindi natin alam na yun pala yun. No? So now, let me put it this way. I will be discussing. No, I'm not going to use I'm sorry. Maybe you can take down notes. I'm going to discuss forecast because if you look at it, meron naman siyang mga types doon. No? Naibigay nyo na rin yung mga sinulat dito. And I have mentioned you also that all operations, all side ng business, gumagamit ng forecasting. Mapa-human resource yan and whatever, gumagamit siya ng forecasting. Isa sa main reason, most common reason, kaya nag-failed yung business, sinasabi natin kulang sa capital, mismanagement, and so on. Pero pag sinabi natin mismanagement, bakit siya na-mismanage? Bakit siya na-mismanage? No? Nagplano naman ako. Okay, nagplano ka, pero yun ba yung dapat mong pagplanuhan? No? Sometimes question natin, ano bang pinagpaplanuhan sa negosyo? What do we need to plan in business? Ay pagplanuhan natin yung kita, yung produkto. So, parang ang lawak, no? So, meron tayong tinatawag na M's. We plan for man, we plan for money, we plan for machine, and everything. Okay? So, ganito po yun. Halimbawa, tanong lang, halimbawa po, kahapon, nagbenta ako ng 50 pirasong, ang naibenta ko kahapon ay 50 pirasong, halimbawa, banana Q. Now, if naibang gagamitin ko, ano kaya ang forecast ko bukas? Operations, the subject, sir, doon is the operations management, no? Tama ba ako? Yung subject nila. Operations management. So nandun yan eh. So, kung 50 yung benta ko kahapon, pag ginamit ko yung naib, ano yung forecast ko bukas? Naib kasi is the most easiest way to do forecast at wala siyang gastos. Na kasi hindi mo kailangan dito ng software sa naib eh. At ito po ginagamit talaga ng mga vendor sa tabi-tabi. So sa naib kasi forecasting, ang sabi lang naman niya, pag bumenta ako 50 kahapon, forecast ko ngayon or bukas, or diba, bumenta ako ngayon ng 50, forecast ko bukas 50. So yun lang naman ang sinabi ni naib. Kung halimbawa ang benta nung last year, December is 30 million. So ang forecast ko, halimbawa sa 30 million na yun, bumenta ako ng mga 2.7 liters na ice cream. So ang forecast ko for this year, December, using naib, is 2.7 million liters. Ganon yung naib. Parang ang pinagbabasihan lang niya, ano yung previous forecast mo, will be the same as what it is. No? Ang problema lang po sa naib forecasting, ang pinaka-problema lang po niya, lalo na sa Pilipinas, unang-una, yung behavior ng customer natin, hindi katulad ng behavior ng sa ibang bansa. Ngayon, ito pang isang problema kasi marami tayong kultura, hindi po pwede na ang naib ay effective. Bawa, ice cream sa Maynila, I use naib forecasting effective. Pagdating ko sa Visayas or Mindanao, it may not be true. Kasi yung behavior ng market, iba. That's why we need to use different techniques. Kukumputin natin. So kung sino yung technique na laging, normally ginagawa namin, what we did before, kapag ka nagbago, hindi tumatama yung techniques, tinitingnan naman yung other techniques. At the most consistent, yun yung ginagamit. Kaya for my experience, pagdating sa consumer product, napaka-effective ang moving averages at saka weighted averages. But if you wanted to know kung yung behavior ba ng customer ay madalas malaking nagbabago, yung bang ngayon biglang 20 tapos bukas 40 tapos naging 10, gamit ka exponential smoothing. Doon mo matitest kung yung variations niya ay malaki, yung pagkakaiba ng kanyang demand sa market. No? So, ibig sabihin, if you forecast like a pro, ang pinaka-requisite nun, dapat alam mo paano gamitin yung different techniques. Okay? So, meron sila sinasabi, sir, di ba meron sila tatlong sinasabi, merong associative, merong judgmental, tapos merong what we call the time series. Time series kasi ginagamit lahat ng mga malalaking kumpanya. Ito yung ginagamit ng mga, pag nasa industry ka, yung nagpo-forecast, yung mga, si Disney, si Nestle, lahat ng mga lalaki, they use time series. No? And the most common, kapag ka mga consumer basic needs, the most common forecast na ginagamit is yung moving averages. Yan yung most common na ginagamit. Pagdating sa soft drinks, it's proven, no, yung mga what we call this, mga beverages, gumagana yung naive forecasting. Naive forecasting gumagana. Bakit gumagana ang naive forecasting sa beverages? Ay, sa mga beverages. Kahit kasi umulan umaraw, bumibenta yung soft drinks. Umulan umaraw, bumibenta. Minsan pa nga, kahit na maaraw na, kahit na malamig na, lalagyan mo pa yelo eh. So, yung naive gumagana siya sa ganung konsepto, no? Pero pagdating sa mga sabon, dilata, moving averages, no? Moving averages and weighted averages, yan napaka-effective yan pag yan ang ginamit mo, no? And SM gumagamit yan, no? Nestle, what we call this Procter and Gamble gumagamit. Even JP Morgan, we use time series. Now, when I was with JP Morgan as a senior financial analyst, so we use time series and we use exponential smoothing kasi tinitingnan namin yung movement ng financial transaction, no? So, yun talagang ginagamit. Ngayon, sa ating mga Pinoy, sina Marites, gumagamit sila judgmental forecasting. Si Marites, si Marimar, gumagamit yan judgmental forecasting. Yung ba tipong pag nakita nila na may pera ka, ibagat, bukas tingnan mo, mamimili yan. May ganun kagad. Alam mo yung hindi wala kang basihan, gumawa ka ng desisyon, that's what we call judgmental. Wala siyang basis. Yan si Marites.
Marisol.
Judgmental yung ginagamit.
Hindi Marisol, sir.
Ayan, si Marisol. Marisol na ano. Ngayon, meron naman siyang tinatawag. Sa business, effective din po yung tinatawag nilang associative. Ang associative, usually ginagamit ito sa mga financial. Pero we still use also mostly time series. But bakit siya ginamit sa financial? Kasi ganito. Ang associative kasi, let's say for example, pag halimbawa, tumaas ang presyo, isa forecast mo dyan pag associative gagamitin mo. Ano mangyayari sa benta? Pag mataas presyo, forecast mo bababa. So may basis ka, bumaba. Pag tumaas yung interest rate, malimang yung maglulun kukonti. So associative, meron siyang pinaghuhugutan at pinanggagalingan. Ngayon ang tanong na lang dyan, as to gaano kalaki ang ibababa at itataas. Kaya gagamit ka talaga ng time series. Kasi sa time series, may figure. May figure kang sinusundan. Di ba? January, February, March, no? Kapag ka moving averages of 4 or pagka naive, halimbawa ang June na benta mo ay 70, yung July mo pagka naive, 70. Ginagawa yan. Ngayon, if you're working, no, if you have business, gamitin mo yung tatlo. It's very effective. So you have naive, pagdikitin mo siya. You have naive, and you have like data from January to June. Halimbawa lang po. Then you forecast for July using naive. Check the June. That's your forecast for July. Now, if you're using moving averages of 4, usually 4 is effective. 6 is good. Good yung moving average of 6, but never do a moving averages of a year. Kasi isa sa elements of a good forecast, kailangan timely. Hindi pwedeng mahaba. It should not be. So what you should do now is nag-forecast ka ng naive, forecast ka rin ng moving averages of 4. Maganda pag 4. Okay naman yung 6. Kapag hindi consistent yung data mo, you can 6. So, di ba, atras lang naman tayo. I-add lang naman natin yun eh. We add June, May, April, up lang naman natin, so divide 4. Tapos yung lalabas doon, yun yung forecast mo ng July. Tapos ikumpara mo sa naive. Then use moving weighted averages. Weighted averages. Ang challenge lang po sa weighted averages is paano kino-compute yung percentage. The percentage. Yun yung challenge doon. Okay, compute mo yung percentage. So, that's how you forecast. So, if you forecast like a pro, wag kang gumamit ng judgmental. Okay? If you want to forecast like a pro, use the time series techniques, no? So yung tatlo, no, yung apat na nandoon, naive, moving averages weighted, at saka yung exponential smoothing. Ang exponential smoothing medyo mahaba lang siya, medyo matrabaho, pero napaka-effective niya kasi nakikita mo. Exponential smoothing will tell you because once you subtract, you will see negative and positive. Sa exponential smoothing, di ba? Pag nag-forecast ka, ang formula lang naman nun is forecast mo plus kung anong percentage times actual minus forecast. Ganun lang naman yun eh. So makikita mo ngayon, pag nagma-minus ka, lalabas yung negative, positive. Yung figure po na yun, napakahalaga. No? Bakit mahalaga yung figure? Kasi pag negative siya, pag negative, may minus mo yung actual, tapos ma-minus mo yung forecast sa actual. So pag mataas yung forecast, mababa yung actual, pag minus mo yon, magne-negative. Anong indication nun? Ibig sabihin, may loss opportunity. Kapag ka naman positive yung lumabas, ang ibig naman sabihin nun, sumobra naman yung forecast mo. Meron ka namang magkakaroon ka naman ng negative effect. Bakit? Kasi yung cost. Kaya ang ginagawa ng kumpanya, pag nakita nilang may positive, sale. Sale ng sale ng sale ng sale ng sale. Kasi sobra yung production. Okay? Kasi magpa-positive siya. Ibig sabihin, ang forecast mo 20. Tapos ang benta mo is 10. Pag minus mo yon, positive 10. So ibig sabihin, nag-produce ka ng marami, bumenta ka ng konti. Over yung production. Pangit yon. Ang mangyayari doon, magsisale ka. Not unless kung kaya mong i-dispose yun. Kaya napakahalaga po ng tamang forecasting technique. No? So you don't need to look at what we call this, yung process, yung steps. Kasi sa steps, sabi niya, identify the problem, blah, blah, tapos identify the forecast and then use the forecasting techniques. So, pag tinignan mo yung steps na yon, ang ibig lang sabihin nun, you have to compute all the informations using the different techniques. Okay? Using the different techniques. So, ulitin ko, kung nagtitinda po kayo ng banana queue, or kung mayroon po kayong tindahan na sari-sari store, or mayroon po kayong malaking restaurant, or mayroon kayong katulad ng restaurant na pinagtrabahoan ni Sir Don dati, kung gaano kadaming siopaw, gaano kadaming cake, ayan, gamit tayo ng time series. No? Gamitin natin yung tatlo. Ngayon, sir, pwede ko maggamitin ang associative? Pwede. Ako, I use the associative. Ginagamit ko yung associative. Kalimbawa, kasi meron akong bibenta ako ng suka at kung ano-ano mga produkto. Ginagamit ko yung associative. Halimbawa, itong pandemic, walang trabaho. So, ibig sabihin, anong forecast mo? Babaan mo yung iyong production. Pag associative lang ang ginamit mo, pwede kang malilintikan. Bakit? Kasi yung produkto mo, maaring kahit walang pera yung tao, walang trabaho, bibenta yung product mo. So anong gagamit? Yun ang ginagamit ng mga negosyante, mag-pivot tayo. Kung hindi tayo mabenta dito, nabawasan, find another market para madagdagan yung benta natin. Yun yung ginawa ni Sark's Burger. Si Sark's Burger, walang dine-in. Kasi alam na niya, pagka associatively, pag tingnan mo, walang dine-in. Kaso lang, alam naman niya, yung tao kakain pa rin ng bacon and whatsoever. Ano ginawa niya? Nagbenta siya ng raw. Yung raw, binibenta niya dito sa Maynila, binibenta niya raw. Kasi nakikita niya na pwedeng bumenta. Kasi andito yung andito yung after how many months of operations na walang pumapasok, nagbibenta ng raw, bumibenta. So, yung associative aspect na pag walang trabaho, walang bibili. Hindi. Hindi laging ganon. Okay? Maaaring oo. Okay? Pero para makasiguro ka, kuha ka ng figure. Get the data and then compute. Okay? So pag ginawa mo yon, meron kang basis. Alright? So, yun po yung ibig sabihin ng what they call it, forecast like a pro. Because professional forecasters usually, iba yung weather forecast kasi yun yung may mga may mga figure, may figure din silang ginagamit. But sa business, ganun po natin siya gamitin. Now, itong inyong subject na operations management, karugtong ito ng management science No, yung management science, nandun yung forecasting, nandun lahat. Tapos dito sa operations, i-apply mo yung natutunan mo sa management science na computation, i-apply mo dito. No? So, kaya pagka na-apply mo siya, napakaganda. No, nandun na yung mayroon kayong distribution, no, yung location planning. Pwede mo siyang gamitin. Dugtong-dugtong po yan Dugtong-dugtong po siya. So ngayon, what should I be leaving as based on my experience when it comes to forecasting? Always make sure that the data that you use is timely. Huwag kang gumamit ng data na panahon pa kung ilang Sir, what's the most effective data na pwedeng gamitin kung year yung aming forecast process? Kasi meron tayong di ba meron po tayong strategic plan, which is the mission vision. So, meron tayong 5 years plan dyan. Tapos, yung 5 years plan na yan, ibibaba niya yan doon sa mga bawat department. Sales, finance, bababa niya doon. So, si finance gagamit siya ng departmental plan. No? So, meron tayong mga 5 years plan. Pero, sa forecasting, ang ginagamit po nila 3 years lang. Hindi sila, they make decision in a 5 years, Pero yung figure na ginagamit nila in production, 3 years lang the most. Hindi sila nagpo-forecast gumagamit ng 5 years data. 3 years lang. Tapos si production, meron siyang departmental plan. Ang gagawin naman niyang monthly yung planning. So, pag-aaralan niya ngayon, anong puproduce ko ngayon. Kaya, kaso lang ang problema, sa Japan, effective yan. That's why they were able to make use of the just-in-time system. Sa Pilipinas kasi hindi. No, kasi yung sila, iba na yung culture na na-establish nila eh. Dito sa atin, sa Pilipinas, iba yung konsepto, iba yung behavior. Kaya napakahalaga na alam mo kung paano gamitin, how we will be using forecasting techniques. Yan po. And I'm very much confident, alam niyo po yun. Kasi natapos niyo yung subject eh. Now with the computations and whatsoever. So you're able to like madali lang naman yung computation. Wag lang tayong mag-simplex. Alam ko may simplex sa management science. So medyo mahaba yung proseso na yun. Sa productivity yun no. Yung compute ang haba. No, tapos napakasimple lang naman yung sagot. Yan. So yun po that's a favor po. Can you share the screen? Wala. Yung Sir, hindi ko napansin to.
Anyway, sir, I will provide the PowerPoint. Sinenda ni May sa
PowerPoint.
akin yung link. I will upload the PowerPoint later.
Yeah. So what you have to remember lang, kung ano lang naman yung nasa PowerPoint, ito yung diniscuss ko. I think this is recorded. Make it sure na timely yon, accurate yung data. Ito pa isa. If you are working in a company, especially yung nasa industry, when you try to get data, lalo na pagdating sa production, you have to be very careful. Kasi may dalawang pinanggagalingan ng data. Una, yung data na nanggaling sa warehouse. Tapos may data na nanggaling sa accounting. So you have to be very careful. So as a forecast, if you wanted to forecast, to get the right forecast, use the accounting data. No? Use the accounting data, wag yung nasa warehouse. No? Kasi, pero sir, di ba yung sa warehouse yun yung nasa ano? Yun po yung what we call this, physical count. Yun yung physical count. Ang nasa accounting, invoice. Di ba? Kung ano yung, kaya magugulat yung mga sales eh. Pagka sinabi ng accounting, wala nang stock to. So pag, halimbawa si accounting nagbigay, ito na lang yung stocks. So yun lang yung i-order ng mga ahente. Ngayon pag nagbigay is si warehouse, asahan mo yan. Pag pa-order ng customer ay ng ahente or pagbenta ninyo, ang result at the end of the day, stock out. Ang daming walang nag-order si customer ng worth 20,000, ang darating sa kanya 200, 2,000 worth. Kasi yung figure. So isa pa yan sa babantayan, kasi nakalagay sa elements of a good forecast, kailangan yung data is reliable. And the only department that can share reliable data is yung accounting, kahit sinungaling sila. No? Andun yung tax evader, tax avoidance, andyan lang lahat sa kanila, mga galing mga accountant dyan. But no, kidding aside, use their data. Whether you are going to forecast for financials, you are going to forecast for sales, use the data of the marketing. So yun yung the best na pinanggagalingan. So kasi nandun yun sa what we call this elements of a good forecast. Ano pa ba? Yun lang naman yung mga nakasulat sa forecasting eh. And it seems to be parang ang kapal sa libro, ang kapal niya kasi ang dami niyang computation. Lalo na pag nag-compute ng exponential smoothing ang kapal. No? So, but minsan hindi natin alam, compute tayo ng compute, kailan saan natin ito gagamitin. Okay? So again, ako usually ginagawa ko noon, 3 forecast ang ginagamit ko. Kukumputin ko siya, tapos in the 3 months, ino-observe ko siya kung saan yung most consistent. So ibig sabihin yung most consistent, yun. Hindi po ibig sabihin na consistent ang exponential smoothing kay Nestle, effective din siya kay sino ba to, kay Selecta or kay Magnolia. Hindi po. Kasi yung behavior ng market nila magkaiba. Okay? Kaya sabi ni forecast, kailangan real data yung gamitin mo. Okay, huwag kang manggaya doon sa ginagawa ng iba. Sabi nga ni Sir Don, bawal mangopya. Ayan. Kasi magkaiba kayo ng idea. So yan po. So any question po? I think that's all for my part, Sir Don. Or any clarification?
Yes, sir. Ayan, thank you so much, Sir Bariga. Hindi ako nagkamali sa pag-invite sa iyo. Okay? Partner ko talaga, Sir Bariga, sa pag-ikot namin sa Pilipinas. Kasi kami, accredited, recognized trainer kami ng DepEd pagdating naman sa partnership management. Ang aming audience are the school heads and the Brigada Eskwela focal persons. Kaya nakakaikot kami, no, kahit saan kami nakakarating. Yun. So thank you, sir, for sharing your expertise.
May question yata sila dito, sir. Ano ba yan?
Ano, sir?
Demand supply. May question ba? Tama ba? Wala na.
Wala. Okay.
The historical
Ayan,
sales or yes, demand.
Let's open now the floor for the Q&A. Do you have any questions? Don't be shy. May mga namoboy mga pangutana, mga dili kayo klaro. Ang alam ko lang yung ulo ni Sir Bariga napaka-klaro. Ayan.
Excuse me po, Sir Don.
Yes, ma'am.
We will have a question and answer portion by group later.
Sige po. Thank you.
Sige. Opo. So, thank you so much, Sir Don. May dadagdag pa po ba kayo, sir?
Wala na. I think that ends our presentation. No? So before we will end na lang the presentation, I want, this is the last activity na, no? Siguro, after na lang the Q&A.
Sige po.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank you
Miss.
so much.
Sarah.
Sige po. Thank you so much, Sir Don and Sir Ronald, for that very interactive, mind-awakening, and energetic discussion, and for stressing the importance of production and operation management, as well as its value and benefits to every organization. So truly, a business cannot operate without knowing the value of POM.
Yeah.
So, Sir Ron?
All right. So once again, Sir Don. Hello, Sir Ma'am. Hello. Hello.
Yes,
po.
Ron. Yes,
Okay.
Ron. We can hear.
So once again, Sir Don and Sir Ronald, thank you so much for your time and for the knowledge that you have imparted to us as the student of the POM. And indeed, it is a fruitful night for new ideas and learnings. With that, I would like to have a short wrap-up with our webinar this evening. So, the webinar started with Sir Don asking us our feeling at the moment. So, some of our classmates answered they are excited, some of us are nervous, and others. So in the opening statement, Professor Don mentioned that those understand the game will win the game. And that's true. And he also pointed out, in order your business to be successful, you have to innovate your product. And with a lot of a competition right now in the market, you must to innovate it, because innovation is the key to success. Tama man. And he also stressed out the importance of vision, mission, and the value of the institution, and also the productivity. While Sir Ronald pointed out that the data should be updated, accurate, and timely in forecasting. And lastly, if you want to forecast like a pro, you must identify the best technique that's suitable to your business. So now, it's time for the question and answer. So each team will have one representative to clarify or to ask questions to our respective guest resource speaker. So let's start the ball rolling with Team 1. So Team 1, any representative to ask questions or clarify something to our resource speaker? Yes, Sir Christian.
Hello.
Yes, po.
Hello, sir. Good evening. Hello. I would like to ask a question lang po, sir, regarding the word maximization. When we say maximize, it is a measure. So, meaning merong minimum, merong parang normal, and then maximize. So, ang question ko lang po, sir, when it comes to the consideration as to the human labor or human resources, can we associate maximization with overworking, sir? Parang na-overwork mo yung mga tao mo. Parang it's another term for parang parang ginapaganda niya lang yung term ng maximization into overworking the employees.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Sir Christian, no, for that very interesting question. No? So, your question is about kung pag sinabi bang maximization of the human labor, is it tantamount to overworking din ang ating human labor? No. Kasi pag sinabi nating maximization, okay, actually nakadepende yan kasi yung mga operations manager knows how to compute for the performance of each of each person, no? So halimbawa, sabi ko sa Siopaw kanina, introductory case ko is that naniwala ako na 80 siopaw lang pala yung kailangan ang kaya niya lutuin. Pero when I motivated him using the incentive approach, so kaya niya palang magluto ng 280 siopaw in a day. Okay? So in that case, na-maximize niya yung 8 hours, kasi yung 8 hours na yun ay napakasakto lang talaga para makapag-produce siya ng 280 to 300 siopaw. Okay? Pag sinabi kasing overwork, yung overwork is that, kasi di ba, once you accept the job, di ba bibigyan ka ng job description at saka yung weight ng iyong job. Okay? So ang papasok si overwork if yung binibigay sa yung weight ng trabaho is more than what is dito pag sinabi overwork kasi inaabuso na yung inaabuso na yung yung abilidad mo para makapag-produce. In the case of siopaw, kaya niya palang gumawa ng 280 to 300 siopaw in a day, pero pag overwork yon, pwede ko siyang i-demand for more than 300 siopaw or 300 to 350 ganon. So if gagawin niya yon, dahil susundin niya ang demand ko, then papasok doon si overwork. Sir, do you have any?
Yeah. Meron tayong tinatawag sa human resource na job enlargement at saka job enrichment, no? So pagka usually yung job enlargement, doon pumapasok yung overwork eh. Yun bang tipong may trabaho ka in line with your job, dadagdagan ka pa ng another na trabaho.
Correct.
So they call it enlargement. Parang maganda siya in such a way, hindi naman siya legal or whatever, kasi nadadagdagan yung kaalaman mo. Pero wala kasi yung kaakibat na dagdag bayad, walang kaakibat na promotion or whatever. Unlike yung job enrichment, it has other purpose. No? So yung tanong ni Sir with regards to maximization ba will leads to overwork. So pag walang key performance indicator yung company, doon magkakaroon ng overworking ngayon. So hindi siya kaya pumasok yung quality management system. Sabi ni Joseph Duran sa kanyang quality management, sinabi niya na yung tao, hindi mo siya dapat pagtrabahuin ng sobra-sobra. Kasi hindi na siya, kung titingnan natin yung old management concept, ang trato sa tao, resource, ordinary resource. Bayad ka, magtrabaho ka. No? Pero sa quality management system ngayon, with the advent of this total quality management, iba na, special na, hindi na siya kasama doon sa post-decon na siya ngayon. Sa old book, nakalagay lang, planning, organizing, walang staffing.
Yes.
Yung personnel management. Kasi, bakit wala yung staffing? Kasi sinama siya sa resource. Pero ngayon, yung total quality management, nandun na siya. Kaya nagkaroon ng KRA para maiwasan talaga yung overwork. No? Madagdag ko lang din, no, doon sa sinasabi ni Sir na maximax Laplace, no. Ito share lang in line with operations also. Ito ginagamit namin labas doon sa operations. Share ko lang sa inyo. Ito ginagamit ngayon ng mga negosyante. Halimbawa, meron kang malaking warehouse. Ngayon, pagka peak season, yung warehouse na yun puno, nagagamit mo. Kapag hindi siya peak season, konti lang yung nagagamit. Ang ginagawa ngayon ng mga kumpanya, ito another things of maximization, ano? Kasi may bakante tapos hindi naman nagagamit. May cost kasi 'yon. Anong ginagawa ng mga kumpanya may-ari? Pinarerentahan.
Correct.
That's what Nestle did nung back in 1998 nung bumalik si Magnolia sa market. Kasi nawala, magkaiba yan eh. Nung 1990 what we call this? Before 1998, ang ginawa ni Nestle at saka ni Magnolia, nag-usap. na Magnolia, wag kang mag-produce. Ako lang mag-produce. Kaya nawala si Magnolia sa market. Kaya ang isip ng tao, pareho sila. So ang ginawa ngayon, ang ginagawa ngayon ni Nestle, kinuha niya lahat ng market ni Magnolia. Thinking yung tao Magnolia siya. So ngayon ang nangyari doon, anong connection nito? Nung bumalik si Magnolia, wala siyang warehouse. Wala siyang warehouse, wala siyang equipment. 1998 natapos yung kanilang kontrata. 10 years kasi yon. Billions yung binayaran ni Nestle kay Magnolia. Para lang mag-stop si Magnolia, lahat ng kanyang outlet bigay niya kay Nestle. So nangyari ngayon, ang ginawa ni Nestle, to maximize. Kasi konti lang ang production ng ice cream, bumalik si Magnolia. O sige, sa umaga ako magpo-produce, Nestle, sa hapon, Magnolia po-produce. Same plant, same equipment, same lot. Pwedeng gamitin yun sa maximization. No? Just to add lang. Pero doon sa kay Sir, para yung overwork, hindi po siya maximization. No? Kasi sa panahon kasi ngayon may mga KRA na po tayong sinusunod, whether mo faculty ka man o whatever man yan, no? Nakakainis nga yung research kanina, narinig ko si Sir 2 days yata siya nag 1 week yata siya, 2 weeks siya nasa research, no? Isa sa nakakabato, ayaw na ayaw kong gawin, no? So something like that. So yun po, I hope that we answer yung katulad sinabi ni Sir Don. Tama po yun, yung overwork hindi po siya maximis sa Chinese form of management. Yung overwork maximization yon siguro. Sorry for the Chinese people, but that's how they deal with operations. Pero sa regular na operation, Japanese concept, quality, yung overwork po hindi siya konsepto ng maximization. Kasi dapat may KRA ka. Dapat may sinusunod kang KRA. Pag wala kang sinusunod na KRA, akala mo nakalamang ka sa tao mo. Pero hindi. Kasi may araw na ginagawa siya, may araw na wala naman siyang ginagawa. Kaya kailangan may performance indicator lagi.
Dahil di ba dati sir no program chair pa ako, nandiyan ako na alas 7 sa school. Tapos umuwi ako na alas 9, pero wala naman ako overtime pay.
Si Sir Don, kahit saan dinadala niya ako, sa hirap ng buhay niya noon, anong ginawa niya? Ginawa rin niya akong program chair. So hinati niya yung kasi hawak yan yung finance sa market. Ang ginawa niya, overwork ako. Alala ko yun. Ay, idamay ko to si Bato.
Overwork kami. Kasi wala namang additional na sweldo at that time. Pero kung may sweldo yun, sir, hindi overwork.
Yeah. Tama-tama yung tanong ni Sir. Ayan.
Pero compensated siya, sir, hindi siya overwork. Thank you. Ayun, may sinasabi si Sir Jomi dito, job design is the process of establishing employees' roles
yes,
that they should use and follow. The main purpose of job design or redesign is to coordinate and optimize work processes to create value and maximize performance. Thank you for that, Sir Jomi.
Si Sir, yata, yung si Prof, yung professor nila, Sir, yata, is a certified human resource practitioner eh. Kasi naka-CHRP siya eh.
Wow.
Yeah, naka-CHRP siya. So he's a certified human resource practitioner. So under the HR, you know. Ayan.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Sir Christian. In behalf of Team 1, thank you so much for your question. Now let's proceed to Team 2. Any questions or clarifications for our webinars tonight? Yes, Sir Russell J. Atang. Acknowledge po.
Good evening. Yung tanong ko lang, sir, is regarding sa forecasting. Kasi narinig ko kanina, Sir Ronald, you came from Nestle, sir, no? Nag-work ka sa Nestle. Yes. So yung tanong ko lang, sir, regarding dito sa forecasting, kapag na-forecast tayo, or let's say kayo dati, sir, syempre, pag compute mo, nakuha mo na yung number eh. Di ba, number na yung ifo-forecast mo the following month to produce. Ngayon, ano ba yung standard percentage ng buffer? Di ba, meron tayong tinatawag na buffer na stocks. Yes. So ano ba yung standard na percentage ng buffer doon sa finorcast natin? And sa Nestle, ano yung practice nila na buffer?
We call it safety stocks.
Yes. Safety stocks. Oh,
yeah.
Parang ganun, sir.
We actually use the safety stocks. We usually, ang allowance namin doon 10% of the total forecasted. So lagi kang may 10% na safety stocks. Kaso lang, ang practice diyan, pagka meron kang buffer na 10%, no? Hindi pagdating sa benta, pagdating sa target, sa quota, kasama pa rin siya doon sa target. So, normally kasi, halimbawa, ang forecast mo ay 50 million. Diba? 50 million. So, lahat ng ahente, kailangan hati-hatiin nila yung 50 million. Hati-hatiin. Yun yung pinaka-ibenta mong target mong 50 million. Pero sa real scenario, pag tiningnan mo siya, we are not looking at the 50 million. We are looking at the 60 million kung ilan 10%, 5 million. Ilan 10% ng 50 million? 5 million. Pasensya na, mahina ako sa math, no? Pero nagko-compute ako. So yung 5 million sinasama siya sa target. Pero normally 10% yung ginagamit namin buffer. Nagbabago siya pagdating ng peak season like summer at saka December, binabago siya. So inaangat yung buffer stocks. So ganun siya tinitingnan. Ngayon, mayroon bang chances na yung buffer na 10% bumababa? Meron. Kasi kung titingnan po natin yung exponential smoothing, sir, pag tingnan natin yung exponential smoothing, yung forecast mo this month, mayroong pagkakataon na mas marami yung forecast kaysa pre-produce. So ngayon, pag nag-produce ka ngayon, gamit mo, halimbawa, gumamit ka ng moving averages, titingnan mo ngayon yung flow. So kung halimbawa, mahina yung last year na same month, is ganun talaga yung kanya performance. So pwede mo babaan yung buffer stocks. Kasi kailangan mo ibaba yung cost eh. So hindi talaga siya yung may standard na sinusunod, pero nagbabago. Depende doon sa month. Kasi seasonal lang ice cream eh. Sa side namin nasa ice cream. Ang commercial yata, nagbabuffer stocks lang ng 25%. Katulad ng mga commercial product like construction, yung mga ganun. Lalo ngayon, so may 25% sila. But we use 10% buffer.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Is there raising your hand?
Yes, sir. Any more questions po?
Sir Jay?
Yung sa akin, sir, yun nga, okay na po doon, sir.
Okay
Yun
na,
lang,
okay.
yung follow-up question ko sana doon, pero which is nasagot mo na yung sa peak season and yung mahina na season, o ano yung kino-consider natin na factors or yung percentage na pwede nating adjust. Pero which is nasagot mo naman, sir. Yun sana ipa-follow up ko na tanong. Kasi ako sa sales din ako, sir, kaya critical sa amin yung forecasting. O kaya natanong ko lang kung ano yung practice.
Anyway, may SAP naman kayo, sir,
sa Nestle. O kasi
sa SAP nandoon na lahat na pati yung ibang
kaso lang po
companies
sa
8%.
isang based on my experience sa SAP, sumasabit eh. Kaya maraming umiiyak na hente. Kasi yung target kasi sobrang taas. Tapos ang baba lang ng actual na benta. Yeah.
Kaya may dalawa minsan ginagamit ng iba-ibang company, gumagamit din ng Power BI ng Microsoft.
Yeah, gumagamit sila.
Kasi
but actually
minsan eh.
With seasonal product like ice cream, ang SAP kasi naka-pattern siya sa international standard eh. Hindi siya naka-pattern sa behavior ng market ng Pilipinas. Hindi ko sinasabing may problema sa SAP. Okay yan. Ulit ko siya sinisiraan.
Okay
Pero sa actual kasi si Sir, alam niyo yan sa sales. Pagka ang ginagamit mo system, paglabas mo sa area, magkaiba ang behavior ng customer, magkaiba ang behavior ng ahente. Ang system standard. Fix yan. So ngayon, pag nagkaiba ngayon, mumurahin ka talaga ng boss mo. Ba't ito bumibenta? Ba't ikaw hindi? So may something concern siyang ginagamit. But anyway, it's very effective naman yung SAP.
Yes, sir. But I agree yung sabi niyo na talagang mataas talaga minsan, sir.
May additional tanong lang ako, sir, kasi baka may idea ka lang yung nangyari dati sa yung parang peak dati ng COVID, 'di ba naubusan tayo ng alcohol.
Okay.
So ngayon, ano yung idea mo dun, sir? Bakit naubusan ng alcohol? And normally, tapos bakit ang tagal na dumating yung enough na supply ng alcohol and hindi naman yan siya na-expire? Bakit wala silang buffer? Bakit wala silang buffer na stocks? Bakit? Yun nga, syempre, bigla tumaas yung demand, pero bakit ang tagal? Bakit ang tagal bumalik yung normal na supply ng alcohol? Which is dumating sa point na ang mahal na ng alcohol.
Actually kasi sir sa trabaho ng supply chain yan eh. Katulad sabi ko po kanina, mayroon tayong strategic plan of 5 years. So nakaplano na yon kung gaano kadami yung supply na kukunin mo para minimize mo yung gastos, so sakto lang. So naka-intended lang siya ng ganun. Ngayon, kaya pag nasa supply chain ka, pag ikaw yung head, kailangan pag namili ka ng supplier, kailangan kaya kanya supplyan in terms of emergency. So mayroon tayong tinatawag sa inventory management. May order cycle kasi yung supplier. So ngayon, hindi lang yung company na nag-produce, pati yung supplier niya. So kung kinuha niya yun abroad, ngayon good
Yep.
for ganito ka lang. Kasi yung COVID naman, hindi expected na umabot ng 2 taon eh. So yung reaction ng mga kumpanya, hindi, hayaan mo yan. 1 month lang yan, okay na yan. So hindi sila naglalagay ng madami. No? So ang nangyayari ngayon, they make use kung ano lang yung stocks na meron sila. Nung umabot na ng ilang buwan, saka lang sila umorder. Meron kasi tinatawag na lead time. So pag delay yung dating ng supply, ng raw materials, tapos ipaprocess mo yon. So ipaprocess mo yung production. So kung 6 months yon, tapos 2 months yung production, so 7 months, normal yon. Pero normally, parang 2-3 months lang siya nawala eh.
Yeah,
so talagang yung supplier ang ano nun, yung reaction mo. So yung buffer stocks, bakit hindi siya kasi kung 10% din yung ginagamit niyang buffer stock, tapos ang in-increase ng demand is 20%, mahihilo talaga siya. Talagang magkukulang siya. Kaya yun, yung mga uncertainty of events, yun, tinuro din sa operation management yung uncertainty at saka certainty, underproductivity, yung Laplace, yung maximin, minimin na sinasabi. Tinitingnan. Kaso lang pagka ganyan kasi mga fortuitous event, hindi talaga natin siya maiiwasan. Maganda yung tanong ni Sir. But yeah, inventory management issue. So from supplier talaga down to the production.
And warehousing.
Yeah.
Kasi kung maliit yung warehouse niya, pag hindi niya kaya accommodate yung ganun karami. At saka yung lead time, yung delivery din, tama yun. So yung resources ko abroad pa, tagal kasi
may cost kasi na kino-compute yun eh. May cost yun, di ba, sa inventory management, kino-compute. So may lead time ka, tapos yung order time para ma-minimize mo yung cost, yung cycle time. So, ayun, hindi mo pwede kasi baguhin agad yun. Kasi uncertain ka pa kung anong mangyayari doon sa event, kung tatagal ba o hindi. Kaya medyo matagal siya bago nag-stabilize.
Oo nga, sir. Kasi minsan mahihirapan ka mag-decide kung sa metro mo ba ibibigay yung natitira or doon sa local, sa provinces. So magdi-decide ka kung sinong bibigyan mo, kung sinong accounts ang pipiliin mong bigyan ng marami.
Yeah, tama yung sinabi sa chat na demand abruptly change kasi. Nag-change siya abruptly. Yung kaya nang i-produce, yung sinasabi natin, yung maximum production is yun lang yung nakasanayan. Hindi ka nang pwede mag-hire ng tao para mag-double time. Either siguro pa-overtime ka. Yung ginawa pa ng gobyerno, huwag kang pumasok. Hindi wala nagpo-produce. Kaya lalo naloko yung lalo naloko. So maraming factors.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sige. Thank you so much, Sir Russell. No? Now, let's proceed to the next team. Team 4. Any representative to ask question or clarify something? Team 4.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Go ahead, Ma'am Rose Ann.
Hello po, good evening. So, regarding the discussion a while ago about forecasting, so I guess there is a very thin line between, diba, pag yung forecast is kapag negative, it means low opportunity. And if the forecast, ang naging difference nila is positive, parang overconfident ka sa imuhang there is overproduction of goods, but I'm just curious about what are the main characteristics of accurate forecast so that yung actual and the forecast data will be closely related. Yung talagang ma-achieve mo yung forecast mo sa actual mo po. Ganun lang.
Okay, pag tingnan natin yung libro, sinabi niya na forecast never been perfect. No, yung parang 5:5. But that happens sometimes, but very seldom, no? So ngayon ang tanong ni Ma'am, ganda yung tanong ni Ma'am, no? Paano ka makasiguro na kung hindi man siya tatutugma, kung konti lang, liliit yung ganyang gap. Kaya yung sinasabi niyo, tama-tama yung ating team, forecast like a pro. Kailangan hanapin mo yung tamang technique. Yung sinabi ko po kanina, kung natatandaan natin, kahit anong ganda ng computation mo, but the techniques that you use is not appropriate for the product or business that you're doing, nothing will really happen. That's why, kung halimbawa bago ka po sa isang kumpanya, you just came in, and then meron ng mga forecaster doon, whatever, kung paano sila gumagawa, you can observe, and you can look at the techniques that they're doing, and then you can look at the history, kung gaano yung variables na nangyayari, kung gaano siya tumatama, gaano kalaki yung diferensya. Kapag sobrang daming stocks at talagang hindi tumatama, ibig sabihin may problema doon sa techniques na ginagamit. Then it's time for you to examine and evaluate which among the techniques is best. 3 months lang. 3 months lang. Gamitin mo yung 3 techniques. Tapos tingnan mo kung sino yung pinaka-consistent doon na result. Then you make use of that techniques. That's what I could suggest. Based on my experience, yun yung ginawa ko. No, kasi lahat naman yan tama kasi sinabi ng libro yan eh. Lahat yan tama sinabi ng libro. Kaso lang talaga, meron lang siyang appropriate business and appropriate product na parang tatama siya doon. Again, kahit na pareho tayo nagtitinda ng banana Q, it doesn't mean that naive is good for both of us because we are serving different market. So we still have to consider those. So yung mga factors na titingnan. Yun po. Sana nasagot ko yung tanong mo.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much, Rose. Now, let's have the final question from the Team 5. Any representative Team 5?
Excuse me, Team 4 po.
Team 4, sorry. Team 4. Okay. So, I guess wala na. Now, Ma'am Jera.
Okay, so I think wala na, no? So thank you so much, classmates. Ang galing ng mga tanong kasi halatang nakinig talaga ang lahat. Parang lahat talaga may natutunan. So it's good that our speakers completely answered your queries.
Yes, Ma'am Jera. To formally end this program, let's have Ma'am May, Ma'am Jane Esteban for the closing remarks.
Okay, so first and foremost, on behalf of our team, I would like to express my appreciation to the speakers and of course to our dear Professor, Sir Kenneth L. Sanido, MBM CHRP, for encouraging us to conduct this timely and valuable webinar. Most importantly, I would like to thank you all, the participants. Without your output, idea, and discussion, this webinar would not have been the success it has. Once again, thank you for your participation and good evening.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Jane. So I think we're done with the photo op na. So Sir Ron, may sasabihin ka pa ba?
We would like to say thank you lang po. Thank you to all the members of Group 1 and to our dear Professor Sir Ken and to our fellow classmates who are present for today's webinar. So, thank you so much po sa inyong presensya and sa pagiging active during the webinar's discussion po.